Last month, I made a video installing the new headlights in my 1989 Toyota pickup. And Auxbeam, the company that actually makes those headlights, must have liked what I did of the video because I just got my new Auxbeam 8-gang switch in the mail.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows, now we eating steak, remember?
Brought to you in part by Alpine Toyota.
When the time was cold, in the kitchen, hot still trying to flip it out the stove.
This here is everything that you get in the box with the Auxbeam 8-gang switch. Now let me explain what I like about these switches versus your traditional rocker style. What I really like about this style of switch panel is it's only this one wire. That's it. That has to go from the engine bay and actually into the cabin of the truck. Everything else is contained in this fuse box. There's these 8 spots to tie in all your wiring to match the 8 switches on this board. And all you really have to do to get this operational is to tie into power and ground on your battery with the included cable. Those go to these tabs on the top. And yeah, this cable is ultimately what brings the signal from this guy down to this guy. And the last thing you need is some sort of switched power source so that this guy actually knows when to turn on. And in the box you'll see Auxbeam also gives you a ton of mounting hardware, so you've got a lot of options and flexibility on where you want to mount the thing. I am most likely going to use this swivel mount and put it on my dash somewhere. Alright, so now that we got that bit out of the way, let's actually get the truck in the shop and start digging into this mod. And as you can see on the switch panel itself, I don't plan on using very many of these slots. I've only filled 4, one being the electric fans right up here to cool the 1UZ. Slot number 2 being cargo lights because I have the rooftop tent on during the summer season. I plan on installing some sort of LED pods back there to kind of light up around camp when I'm trying to set up at night. In this slot I have rock lights, which are currently run to a rocker switch inside the cab. And this one, air. So I do plan on hardwiring my air compressor and mounting it in the truck somewhere, just not sure where yet. But it'll eventually go to the switch here. And then I'll have all these blanks for, future electronics if I want to add like a fridge or something into my truck. So before I go ahead and actually install this unit into my truck, I've kind of dummied it up here just to make sure that everything works. So if I put the switch power right to the battery, that guy should turn on. Oh, yep, there it goes. And nothing is connected to this at all, but if I hit, it lights up. And this here is the sticker sheet that is included with this kit. As you can see, there is a ton of options, and you just peel off the sticker you want and put it right over the button. For now, I'm going to be utilizing these blank ones to put into these spots here. And really quick, I noticed that in this relay box, it's labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where I had it split before on here was half of them on this side, and then I wasn't using this half, so it would look weird to have some wires coming out of this side, some wires coming out of that side. And I just decided, nah. I want all the wires coming out of one side of this to look the cleanest in the engine bay. And honestly, once I put the blanks in here, I think this will just look the cleanest overall. Alright, I'm in the cab and I think I figured out where I want to put this. So this is ultimately replacing this guy. I'm actually going to take this out and I'm going to put the cubby back in its spot and regain that bit of storage back. And with the cubby there, I think that this switch panel would look really good right there. I'm going to use this mounting bracket that came with it on its swivel, mount that to the ashtray cover itself, and something along the lines like that. And using this mounting bracket on the ashtray, you can see the ashtray's got a bit of a curve to it, and this is a flat surface. So I'm going to put this in the vise, and I'm going to try to just bend it just ever so slightly so that it matches the surface. And that seems to have worked absolutely perfect. That fits in there nicely. Looks really good. It is super solid, and like, the ashtray is definitely still functional. All right, some progress has been made. As you can see, I actually mounted the fuse box back there in that corner of the engine bay, right beside my other accessory fuse box right here. It has power, and right now I have the fans wired to turn on and work, and that does work, which is great. The only problem now is the reason I've got this fuse box taken apart is because I was gonna rob the switched power that goes to this and link it to the other fuse box. The problem I found there is I've got this one on a switched power in the run position because this fuse box is mostly responsible for powering everything 1UZ and engine swap related. But what I want is I want the switch power to be on accessory or run so that I can turn the key on to accessory and then turn on the lights that are going to be in my box for, you know, camping. Or maybe to just run my rock lights when I don't necessarily want the truck on or in the run position. There is no accessory keyed power in the factory fuse box. I just use my multimeter and check. So what I'm gonna have to do is rob power from either the radio or maybe the cigarette lighter in the cab. So I guess we'll have to have one extra wire running into the cab just to, you know, run the switch power. Which means I gotta gut the interior, which, you know, it's fine. I gotta take apart the dash to get the old switch panel out of there anyways. I was just kind of trying to avoid that because I didn't want to do it quite yet, but it is what it is. All right, so half the dash is gutted here. The radio is reinstalled with the cubby instead of the old switch panel. And if you look here, this is the cigarette lighter wires. I know from experience in this truck, the white with the black tracer is generally always ground. This wire right here will be the switch positive that I want to tie into with the new Auxbeam fuse box. All right, so now the switch power to the fuse block is connected to this switched wire on the cigarette lighter, so when I hit the key into the accessory position, too far, it turned on. With the fans, they're a-bucking. Off, on. Now, if I turn the key off, it's perfect. That is exactly what I wanted. So now, it's time for reassembly. All right, so the installation of the Auxbeam 8-gang switch panel is essentially done. As you can see there, the fuse box is pretty well buttoned up. Every wire is tightened, it's all into place. I've done all the cable management I can for now. The interior is all back together. That panel looks great in there, by the way. And yeah, I'm stoked to have my cubby back. Stoked to have a better switch panel that actually turns off when the key is off. My fans will turn off automatically. And so far, it's working great. Just so you guys know, I am giving away my old rocker switch panel with the rocker switches included over on my Instagram, Dirt.Garage. This is the Paranoid Fabrications panel. They advertise this panel for first generation Tacomas, but it definitely works in at least third generation pickups as well. So go head over to my Instagram and check that out. Anyways, guys, that wraps up this week's episode of Dirt Garage. I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, please smash that thumbs up button. And hey, consider subscribing. I upload weekly Toyota building, wheeling, and off-roading content. Anyways, I'll see you next week. Peace.
I'ma make a couple stacks, do exactly what I want to. Mix a couple tracks, get a lady that I'm drawn to. Turn up to the max, get me faded till I'm gone, dude. I do what I want, couldn't stop me if you wanted to. I just work hard, yeah, harder than the rest. Some people say I'm lucky, others say